Yo, what's going on guys? Arekkz here, welcome back to another Monster Hunter World video, and in today's video we are talking about the spring update. Capcom just finished their special broadcast live stream, and in that they gave us a ton of new information on Deviljho, new gear, new weapons, collaborations, quality of life changes, weapon balance changes, and a ton more on top. So in the event that you guys either missed the stream or saw it in Japanese and wanted some English information, then in this video I'm going to go over absolutely everything you want to know. I will however say that I'll be doing a separate video after this one talking about the weapon balance changes, so this video is just going to focus on the spring update, collaborations, and all the content coming very soon. So if you do enjoy this, then a like would be super appreciated. Comment down below if you have any questions, but let's get started. So first things first, March the 22nd. Mark it in your calendar. That is when Deviljho will be coming to Monster Hunter World. Now Deviljho, once he's added to the game, will not be like your conventional event quest. He won't be there for a short period of time. He is going to become a permanent addition to the game, so on March 22nd, Deviljho will be added. Once he's added to the game, he will also be able to invade 6 and 7 star quests and high rank expeditions, so much like how other monsters can just invade and get in the way, Deviljho will do exactly that. He will only show up, however, once you've completed the Search for Rathian Tracks quest, one of the main story quests. If you guys are in high rank by now, you will have done that, but basically that is where you'll need to get to, because of course beyond that point you then start embarking on 6 and 7 star quests. But Deviljho will become a permanent addition to the game, and of course with that comes new armor and new weapons. Interesting note on the weapon front, it seems that the melee weapons have white sharpness with handicraft, which is pretty handy. We don't have all the information on the gear stats just yet, but there will be the Vangus armor, both alpha and beta. You can see it on screen right now. I will say I'm a little bit disappointed in the female designs. It's not quite as exciting as the male ones. It looks a little bit lackluster, but that's just my personal opinion. But either way, this is the Deviljho gear. You can of course see the greatsword there, the dual blades, and in some of the other pictures we have, we get a quick look at the insect glaive, the lance, and of course bowgun as well. So we haven't seen all the weapons just yet. I am incredibly excited to see some of the other ones. I really want to see what the Deviljho charge blade looks like. But either way, new weapons to earn, new gear to earn, and a new monster to fight. And that will be coming to Monster Hunter World completely free on both platforms, PS4 and Xbox One, on March the 22nd. Now for those of you guys that are new to Monster Hunter and perhaps haven't fought Deviljho before, he is basically like the ground version of Basil. In previous games, he would just show up, he would invade your quests, he would get in the way, and he was quite a force to be reckoned with. So in this game, you now have Basil, who likes to fly in from the sky and drop bombs on you, and you're now going to have Deviljho in the mix, who may also start doing the same thing. In fact, in the gameplay, they showed a turf war between Basil and Deviljho, and while it seems at the beginning, Basil does get thrown around by Deviljho, you can see later on that they are somewhat evenly matched. So while this is definitely the fight of the century, there's not necessarily a clear winner in this instance. Of course, once Deviljho goes enraged, he glows red. He has a very powerful Dragon Breath attack, and if you get hit by that, then you'll be inflicted with Dragon Blight, so Null Berries is definitely a must. Also, he does have a rather annoying pin attack. We didn't see it in this gameplay, but it's something that he's always done in the past, so I would strongly recommend bringing Dumb Bombs, because not only do you use those to push monsters away if they come and you kind of just don't want them in the area, but also if Deviljho pins you, firing a Dumb Bomb at his face is the way to basically counteract that pin. So just something to think about, just something to keep in mind. But either way, he's coming to the game. We've seen him mess up Kuluyaku, seen him mess up Great Jagras, seen him fight with Basil. I cannot wait to see some of the other turf wars. I really want to see what happens when he shows up against some of the other tougher monsters, but either way, that is pretty cool. Also, rather interesting note, when they put him in a pitfall trap during the gameplay, it seems like he was fighting back. The hammer user here, you can of course see he got knocked over by Deviljho during this, so that's a rather interesting thing to consider. But either way, until I get a chance to actually jump in game and test that for myself, then we'll have to wait and see. But main thing to note is March 22nd, that is next week Thursday, Deviljho will be coming to the game. We don't have any times just yet, so once I do know the exact update time, I'll be sure to let you guys know, but it will be an update for the game, and then once you've done that, you'll then be able to start fighting and farming him. Now, moving on from there to talk about some of the additional changes coming to the game. First up, some quality of life and some requested feature updates. The first thing on the list is that they're making some changes to carving. You will now no longer be able to be hit or tripped by your teammates when you are carving. You can still, hit your teammates afterwards if you're trying to mess around with things like emotes or weapons and stuff, but if you are carving, you will be immune to trips from both melee weapons and also items like bombs as well. This is basically going to stop people griefing, because I have heard some horror stories where people have joined SOSs to try and help people out, and then some people will decide that they don't want them to carve, so they insist on hitting people to just prevent them from carving. That is really bad behavior, and I'm kind of glad that they've done this, so that way it means that if you do join an SOS and you do help people out, you can be guaranteed to get your carves. Again, you can still be hit outside of that, but whilst you're carving, you are safe during that animation. On top of that, they're also optimizing the load times. They are adding the ability to boot people from lobbies, which is incredibly useful. I, for one, stream the game a fair bit, and of course, if you get people join the lobby and it gets a little bit full, it's nice to be able to have manual control so you can kick people out if you want to. And also on top of that, they are adding the ability to return directly to the Gathering Hall following a quest completion. This is something I've wanted to add to the game for a very long time, because the Gathering Hall is, unless you're streaming or you're kind of jumping in a lobby and lots of people are being encouraged to flock to the Gathering Hall, given that you can embark on a quest from anywhere in Astera, a lot of people just don't bother going there, and that's understandable. So now having the ability to just finish a quest and go directly to the Gathering Hall, that is going to be incredibly awesome. They're also adjusting the subtitle size, or giving you the ability to adjust the size of the subtitles, and they're adding the ability to remake your character. However, it's worth noting, you will require a ticket to do so. Now, the first ticket will be given to you completely free on March the 16th, that is this week. But after that, if you want to change it, then once the spring update has gone live, you will then be able to buy tickets from the PlayStation Store. So yes, subsequent character recustomizations will cost you money. No details just yet on how much, but the first one will be completely free. And honestly, that's not really much of an issue, because you're not going to be changing your character that frequently. So given that the first one is free, then from that point onwards, if you want to do it, then you can pay for a ticket. That's kind of what they do in things like MMOs and stuff. It's a pretty standard practice, so that's not exactly anything new. But either way, for those of you guys that have made your characters, if you decided that you want to change anything, then you can also change your gender. It is worth noting you cannot change your name or your palico's name. They are fixed, but you can change gender, face structure, all that stuff if you've made any mistakes and you want to fix that up. Now, moving on from there to speak about the spring update. Now, there's two separate things. March 22nd is when Deviljho comes to the game. However, following that, there is actually going to be a spring event, the Spring Blossom. This will start on April 6th. That is April 6th for Japan, so that's more than likely going to be April 5th for the West. But April 6th to the 19th is going to be the Spring Blossom seasonal event. Now, this is really cool. During this event, whenever you log in, you will actually get 2 bonus tickets as opposed to 1 as your typical daily login bonus, which is pretty cool. On top of that, during the special event, so during that window, April 6th to the 19th, all the event quests will return. So if you've missed them, if you missed your chance to do the Horizon quest or the Street Fighter quest or say the Wiggler quest, things like that, any of those event quests that give you cool things, they will be active during this event. So it's a great chance to do something if you've missed out on it. There will also be a new food option in the menu, a special kind of Spring Blossom dish. There will be new emotes, which I imagine will be sold on the PlayStation Store. There will be new gear for you to earn for your hunters and your palicos, looks like the Banabre gear. There will be a new handler costume. There will be a fireworks barrel consumable, which you can basically just put on the ground and it shoots out fireworks. Plus, there's also going to be a new costume for the Poogie, which is pretty cool. Lots of cool things. This is basically going to be an event where once it's active, the Gathering Hall will change. I'm hoping that the rest of Astera changes as well, but at least in the Gathering Hall, you can see that during this event, there's a lot of cool stuff going on. They've got the, flowers and stuff, typical sort of thing you would expect with a spring event. The ladies at the quest counter have new costumes, loads of things like that, and it's really nice to see them doing these seasonal events, because it also means that they're more than likely going to do similar things when it comes to, say, maybe Halloween or Christmas or other noteworthy events, which is really, really nice. I like it when games do things like that. It just kind of gives you a reason to, jump back in, get involved in things, and it's just like a fun thing to be involved in. So definitely really cool. And as a reminder, that is April the 6th to the 19th. In addition to that, you guys might remember that before the game came out, they ran a weapon design competition. The winner was the greatsword that you see on screen, and this weapon will also be available from an event quest from April the 6th to the 20th. So basically, during the spring event, you'll be able to get this greatsword, and it actually looks really, really good. Right now, if you guys are greatsword users, you may know that the Jagras greatsword is one of the endgame ones. Typically, you run it with augments, you run it with the Elementless Jewel, and it's a very powerful greatsword to run. This one looks like it could well rival that. Looking at the stats in the workshop, it appears to have, do bear in mind, they're of course wearing the No Gigante armor, so there's a certain degree of attack boost in here, but this is following a quest, so they haven't got any food buffs on, there's no horn buffs or anything like that. This has 1066 attack with the armor they're currently wearing. It has a thin bit of white sharpness and negative 10% affinity. Now, that in itself is very potent. Natural white sharpness, very high attack. Admittedly, I'll need to test this for myself in game, but this could well end up being a replacement for the Great Jagras greatsword. This could end up being one of the kind of top tier endgame weapons, which would be really, really awesome, especially for those people that have been kind of going for those really high numbers on their greatsword chops on the wake up. This is going to be a fun thing to mess around with. It's really awesome as well because in combat, once you charge the greatsword attacks, these jet engines ignite, and of course they follow the motion of the weapon going down. So that's going to be available also during the spring update. Additionally, the Mega Man event, a lot of people have been asking about this one, that is coming on April the 13th. So again, that'll be available during the event. The quest for this one is to fight Odogaron, two Odogaron. One of them is tiny, one of them is massive, so this can be good for the gold crowns. This will basically tick off your Odogaron from the gold crown list completely. The background music also changes during this quest based on the weapon that you're using. It selects different Mega Man tracks. There will also be Mega Man stamps too, to add to the list. And for the gear itself, you'll need 1 ticket for the weapon and 3 for the armor. Final thing worth calling out is the Devil May Cry collaboration. We still don't have a date for this just yet, but they did confirm that this armor set, unlike the previous event quests, will be separate pieces. So you will not need to craft a complete armor set. You'll have to craft each of the individual Dante armor pieces, meaning it can then be worked into mix sets. So suddenly if you decided that you wanted the Dante jacket but nothing else, and you can ride it with other things, then that is going to be incredibly awesome. So provided it has some good skills on it, it could well be a nice candidate to work into future mix sets. Now, for the time being, that is pretty much it. I did mention there are a load of weapon balance changes, but I want to do a dedicated video on that since there's already a lot of information to digest in this video alone. So for the time being, this is everything you need to know about Deviljho and the spring update. A reminder of dates, Deviljho comes on March the 22nd, and with that you'll be able to farm the monster, get the gear, and get the weapons. There will also be some quality of life changes coming, and then on April the 6th to the 19th is the Spring Blossom event, and during that time, there will of course be the opportunity to redo some of the event quests, to take part in some new events, to earn some cool items, to get some new emotes, just in general, enjoy the events. There'll be daily login bonuses, lots of cool things to do, so expect lots of content around then, but for the time being, that's it. If you guys have any questions, by all means let me know in the comments down below, but otherwise, thank you for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.